The Philippines has yet to be a part of a traveler's itinerary when planning on a Southeast Asian trip. But for those who have come and gone, a good number of them have fallen in love with the hospitable people, with the pristine beaches, with the combination of cultures, maybe even with the unusually saucy and high cholesterol cuisine. Aussie chap Scott Alford joins us on the program to talk about how this country has captured his heart. He has traveled to several countries in Asia, yet still considers the Philippines a special place. He is a columnist for tourism-philippines.com. Hi Scott, welcome to Generation XY and Us.
Hi Anna, thanks.
You've been to many Asian countries and lived in those places. In this country hopping process, how did you end up in the Philippine Islands?
It was just the last country in the region that I hadn't been to, so I wanted to see it because it was there, really. I just went to Boracay first and El Nido and then a few days in Manila and really enjoyed it, and then came back 3 months later. I went to Mount Pinatubo and Tagaytay, and then I kind of decided that I wanted to live there, so I quit my job in Korea 2 months later and then moved to the Philippines to just specifically travel there.
Southeast Asia is a popular destination at the moment, especially for young Australians. But when the Aussies talk about traveling to Southeast Asia, oftentimes they fail to include the Philippines. Being Aussie yourself, why do you think this is so?
Well, in my opinion, under-promotion is the real key factor. Because when most Aussies think of Southeast Asia, they think of Bali and Thailand and now Malaysia. I think that the Philippines has a lot to offer, but it's kind of lost when people are bombarded with Malaysia Truly Asia adverts every 10 minutes on television. So I also think that it's really hard to package 7,107 different islands, the diverse cuisine, all the different ethnic groups, the rich history of the Philippines, and all the different experiences you can have in the Philippines in just one simple 30-second commercial. What was promoted in the past about the Philippines was pretty average. Like the first ad I saw on TV for the Philippines was only about Manila, and what it mostly showed was buildings and jeepneys and a few smiling people. And really, most people aren't going to fly to another country to just see that. They're looking for something that's unique. I think another factor is geography. Most tourists, they generally just go around Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, and most of them forget that there's another country across the water.
And in your article on Tourism Philippines, you mentioned a few things, misconceptions that make travelers turn their backs from the country. You mentioned geography being one of them just a while ago. The threat of terrorism, even though that's something that can happen in other Southeast Asian countries. Yet, they still get millions of tourists coming in. Is tourism advertising about redirecting a traveler's focus on other things that highlight a certain place, or addressing the misconception itself?
It's what is being promoted, and sadly with the Philippines, there's a lack of positive advertising in mass media. I mean, if you go to news.com.au, Australia's major news site, and you search Philippines, what you're going to find is kidnapping, terrorism, floods, typhoons, all the bad stuff. There's hardly a travel article there, and if there is, it's a quick thing about Boracay. And also, I have to say that a lot of Filipinos online also like to promote the negatives of the country. I hope that with the launch of the recent tourism campaign, the slogan, which became the #1 trending topic on Twitter worldwide, it was also, #2 in Australia, #2 in Singapore. I hope that this will be able to change it. But also, on the day that the slogan was launched, the #3 trending topic on Twitter in the Philippines was Switzerland, because the slogan was similar to an ad that was used in a 61-year-old newspaper ad for Swiss tourism. Filipinos seem to really focus on the negatives, not all, but some. I think what the Philippines isn't doing is they're not spending enough money on advertising to make money from tourist dollars. And I think a lot more also needs to be invested in infrastructure.
So this new campaign, it's more fun in the Philippines. You think there's truth in that?
Well, yeah, it's a slogan that allows every Filipino to become an ambassador for their country and tell the world why their country is more fun. And you can see this because thousands of people online are already uploading their own personal pictures to show why it is more fun in the Philippines. The Philippines is an extremely diverse country, and this slogan can be attached to all of the great things that can be found in the Philippines.
There's an interesting blog post I read that pointed out one key thing travelers look for, especially in Asian countries, that is to experience culture. And to some, this concept of culture seems to be lost in the Philippines, having strong Western influences. In your experience, what to you are the highlights of Philippine culture?
Well, I've heard from many people across Southeast Asia that the Philippines has no culture, and in my opinion, this is completely false. Philippine culture doesn't smack you in the face like Indian culture might. It's a much more subtle culture and accommodating as well. Going to the instances where I've experienced Philippine culture, the standouts, I guess, would be walking through Quiapo with Carlos Saldran. I saw the Black Nazarene, and then I went and checked out the occult skulls outside the church. Bayanihan during Ondoy, how everyone really got in and did their work and helped each other. Getting taught how to tie a bahag in Sagada by my adopted Kankanai family. Sleeping in an Igorot hut on the Batad rice terraces, and the owner was telling me stories about when he was raised there. Especially in Batanes, every person in Batanes was smiling, saying good morning, good afternoon. There was a lady on the bus in Camarines Norte that I met, and she treated us to a Bicolano feast at her place. More recently, I danced through the streets of Kalibo during Ati-Atihan. Every single corner of the Philippines has something incredible to experience, and it's mostly because of the people, the Filipino people.
That's great. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us, Scott.
Thank you. You're welcome.